Okay, welcome back everyone. Happy evening. It is Thursday. Tomorrow there's no work for me. That's awesome. I know I'm late, okay? I'm trying, man. It's life is getting overwhelming, and as much as I don't want to admit that, it kind of is getting overwhelming. But that's fine. We push through it. So, I mean, as soon as I decide to drop 10,000 on spot, Bitcoin decides to go from 90,000 all the way down to 81,000 was our lowest. Imagine that in just one day. Why did we drop so much? We're going to be looking into all of that. Is this the opportunity to buy? Right now I'm catching a falling knife, but I think I will still do... Yes, I already bought over here, by the way. Okay. I'm getting way too ahead of myself. First of all, how are you? Great. Awesome. Moving on. Bitcoin is still in its downtrend. As expected, we were expecting to make lower lows, lower highs. I explained the 91,000 resistance level was going to be very difficult to break, and that is why I did not trust the pumps on a lot of the other altcoins. New BingX update dropped, by the way. Does it look cleaner? I think it does. I like it. It looks more darker, more futuristic, more advanced. Okay, anyway, enough glazing BingX. It looks great. So, what do we have now? A drop in the price. Lovely. 91,000 was going to be a very difficult level to break, which we explained. So now we are using that, of course, as the top for this downtrend continuation. How low could we have gone? I expected 84,000. We did hit that target. I decided to buy there. Where did I buy? 84,743. I still managed to mess up and buy higher. Whatever. We continued dropping, and here we are right now at 82,000. That is free money right there. I texted Cblue to buy, and the guy was like, no, I don't want to buy Bitcoin anymore. Okay, pal, you're a loss. This is literally the time to buy. Sorry, not sorry. And this is not financial advice, by the way. I'm going to be wrong, as I have been wrong for the past 28 times. My other altcoin positions, they're holding, but they're about to be liquidated pretty soon. Am I concerned? Not at all. Do we deserve to have this drop? Not at all. There's really no big actual reason why the markets are crashing. I do have some theories, some speculations, although they're not announced as formal narratives. Like, this is the exact reason why markets are crashing. Nobody has that answer. But we can speculate as to why it is happening. So, what do I believe? First of all, according to the news that we will be discussing today, Fed chair announcement, that is happening tomorrow. That darn guy, Scott Bessent, told us it was going to be happening next week. Well, it's coming early. That we have no pressure of announcing. But when it comes to like market structure bills and everything else, that just gets pushed off to the end. No one cares about that, really. But we actually did get a decision on the market structure bill as well. A good advancement on it, although a little shaky. Still good and overall, in my opinion. So we're going to be talking about that as well. Tensions in Iran, again, it keeps on happening, but this time it looks like it might get real. We might do the weekend attack as expected, as I expected. I don't know if anyone else did. It seems like the attacks usually do happen on weekends, right? That's something that we've noticed, a little trend that I've paid attention to. Pattern noticing, right? So, yeah, that could happen over the weekend. We're approaching it. Tomorrow's Friday. It's the end of the week. So there's that, and a huge crash in commodities as well. The bubble has popped at last. The CoinGlass liquidation map, heat map looks interesting. Oh yeah. Everything is huge levels of liquidation. We had trillions flow out of commodities today. Did any of it come into crypto? Absolutely not. And that is a bit discouraging for a lot of people. Why isn't the money going into crypto? We thought the capital rotation was going to happen. We thought at least give us one of those $40 trillion that gold has, gold and silver combined. But no, none of it decides to flow into crypto. Matter of fact, it just flows out even more, which is also discouraging for the crypto holders. It is part of the reason why alts, who were expected to be the biggest beneficiary, of this capital rotation from these huge commodities into riskier assets, seems like that is not really happening. Dollar index is crashing. Why isn't anything that goes against the US dollar, in this case Bitcoin, that's not rising? There's a bit of divergence there. What is going on? Fed chair announcement. Yeah, we're going to put somebody that's going to cut rates a lot, but is that really good? Like, really? Isn't the Fed supposed to be something independent? Isn't the Fed supposed to, make their own decisions and not be influenced at all by what the president says? Although, yeah, sometimes people argue, and the Fed, they don't know what they're doing and they're hurting the economy more by being too cautious, too safe, I don't know what to call it, too selfish, that they don't want to cut the rates and help improve the economy. But realistically, that is their job. They are trying to look out for the economy, and we're just still going lower. Why are we going lower? I thought we would have bottomed out by now. Anyways, so yeah, I predicted a drop to 84,000, and the last expectation, I guess, would have been at this low point right over here. Why isn't the pivot levels showing? Is this part of the new update? That's going to ruin everything. Well, I don't get to see them now. That's lovely. Just going to have to guess now. 81,000. That is basically where the second support level was. So, yeah, 80 to 81,000 is our last support. Why specifically there? It is because we had that as a previous... The lowest point that we dropped over here where I got stop hunted, that's where it was, 80,000. So, here we are once again. Will we hold? I do believe we will. I do believe we will. Does that mean buy now? Yeah, kind of. It does kind of mean buy now, but don't, okay? Like I said, don't really know. So it's something we're going to have to wait and see how it continues to perform. But there is the big drop that I was kind of expecting. I don't know if I was expecting that much of a big drop. I'm looking for RSI heat map. That's what I wanted to look at. Oh, right. I have to log in. Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever use this ever again. Might have to use CoinMarketCap's RSI heat map, which I think they do have. Or was it CoinGecko? Am I blind? Where do I find it? Here's liquidations as well, if you guys care. Here's the RSI, which I'll check out later. 1.64 billion longs liquidated in the past 24 hours. That's not too bad. We saw, like, what was it, 20 billion on October 10. That was the worst of the worst. But anyway. Is this it? Is this what I'm looking for? Yes, this is kind of what I'm looking for. Why this huge difference? Is this market caps? It is. This looks horrible. How am I supposed to read anything here? Oh, there. You can zoom in. Cool. Yeah. Filter out all the irrelevant ones. Everything that's in the green here, good chance of buying. The bright green, not the dark green. Not yet. So that includes buys on Sui, Avalanche, Hedera, Kronos, Ton, Polkadot, Uniswap, BitGet, Aave, BitTensor, Near, ETH Classic, I guess if you care, ICP, Jupiter, and ignore the rest of these. I would not touch them. Yeah. So, big red day overall. Lovely. Let's go ahead and look at the other coins. That would have worked out perfectly fine. Hey, I knew it was a fake out. I called it since yesterday. I'm like, look, yes, I know we just flipped the trend on Ethereum. I didn't expect it to rise. Like that doesn't really count, right? In my opinion, that super trend should not have flipped over. And well, there you go. I was right. The current candle that we're seeing right now is just about to invalidate the whole thing. And if I did short yesterday, yeah, that would have been profit. Oh, well, I missed. It's fine. There will always be more opportunities in the market, just like this one. You just got to know when to get it. And how much profit would I have made at peak scenario? 1 to 5 risk reward ratio, realistically? That would have been good. But I didn't. Anyways, Ethereum's price, if you're not aware, went from 3,000 all the way down to 2,680. We're currently at 2,718. How low can we go? Whatever this is, 2000. I hate this now. It doesn't show me the pivot levels on the side. 2,640, and then 2,460. Where am I liquidated at? 2,464. So literally at this second support level, which it actually might happen, honestly. So I'll just accept the loss at this point. Will I reverse my position? Absolutely not. Solana had a big dump today, so even though I got stop hunted before, I'm kind of glad that this drop happened. It kind of proves me right. 111 was where I predicted this to drop. That is exactly where we dropped to, almost. 112, you could call that. It's 111.99, okay? Give me a break. Give me a buffer of plus or minus $1 or $2 on an asset like Solana, okay? So we hit that, oversold right now. Downtrend always been a thing. I was not willing to short it because I was hoping we would approach 130 a little closer. We hit 128. I was hoping for something like 129 so I could open a short position, but it didn't give me the opportunity. Either way, whatever you shorted yesterday, if you somehow managed to pay attention and follow what I said for whatever reason, then yeah, it would have been a significant profit. And to that I say you're welcome, but I'm not always right. So yeah, I did kind of, whatever. Enough self-praise, move on. $113 is the price of Solana. Yeah, if I wasn't stopped out from this drop, I definitely would have been with this drop right now. So that kind of puts me at peace. I know I lost. It's fine. A lot of short positions, and looks like the bears are winning this one so far. But we relax, okay? Do not go too aggressive with the longs. Do not go too aggressive with the shorts. Hyperliquid doing the drop here. After hitting a high of $34.84, we're deciding to crash. We're currently making lowest points ever since our rise, which is now $28.55. We broke below $30. We're approaching, I would say, this area between $25.50 to $26 is what I would look at for Hyperliquid. Meaning that we still have another 7, 8, 9, 10 drop, 7, 8, 9, 10% drop in it. And Hyperliquid, it's proven its volatility, right? Will I go short here? Absolutely not. I think I would go maybe long, maybe. If I am feeling a bit defiant, I might do a position like this. Because whatever uptrend that we do get, what uptrend? There is no uptrend. Yeah, that's the questionable part about this whole thing, is where is the uptrend? Where do you draw it? It's really tough to draw one. There really is no uptrend. In the weekly charts, you already know this thing is confirmed downtrend. I was content for a moment as we were able to break out of this. Who knows? Maybe it is the start of something bigger. What does this look like? I'm going to go back into a 4-hour chart to adjust these levels. That would go over here. This is really shallow, so I don't know. We could lose this excuse of an uptrend, the same thing that we just saw with Ethereum. But I don't expect Hyperliquid, of course, to go lower than 20. That would be absolutely brutal. So, you know, there's still hope for this one. And we already know the reason why Hyperliquid was on the rise. Yes, it is a decentralized exchange where you can trade cryptocurrencies, but that's not the reason why it was rising. It was rising because people were trading commodities, gold and silver, which you can trade on Hyperliquid. Yeah, can you imagine a decentralized crypto exchange making a lot of revenue and money? You would expect because everybody's trading crypto on it. No, it's because people are trading commodities on it. The trillions of dollars that are flowing in and out of gold and silver, like I said, that brings the volume, the fees, the revenue for the company. And ultimately, more revenue equals more buybacks on Hyperliquid and makes price go up. So, hey, smart play. But I was content with my little short position that I had there. Luckily, I took profit. And then we had this Omega reversal over here. So, but yeah, what goes up must come down. Here we are experiencing that. Good riddance. We'll see what happens. Sui breaking 130. There you go. No more Sui. Sui goes bye-bye, down the drain, forever. We're expecting now, what would this even be? $1.15? Is this even legal? What are we doing here? 114 is where I'm liquidated. So same situation as Ethereum, you know? Support level 2 is where I'm liquidated. Same thing with Ethereum and Sui, right? Support level 2. This is just beautiful drawing. Okay, let me just... That's where I get liquidated. Let's hope that this does not happen. Or let's hope that, you know, we bounce close to that area. That's all I could really do for it. I'm not adding more money to it. I'm just going to let it drop. They should have all been liquidated on October 10, so I'm surprised they didn't. That's the coping mechanism that I have for it. And Sui, yes, I did get Omega liquidated, and I still decided to buy into it more. Where did I even buy? Oh, I was buying over here. What was my average price? 234. Yeah, this looked great after October 10, right? 234 being the average price, until eventually price never went back up there again. So we were close, you know, we tapped $2. It looked a little optimistic. Should have just reversed the whole position there. Lost a bit, but made more money on this drop instead. How was I supposed to know that this was going to drop? Nobody kind of would have guessed that. Or if you did, well, congratulations. The way I see it is that, yeah, we're expecting a lot of liquidity. We're expecting dollar to continue to devalue. It worked with gold and silver. I mean, we saw record numbers, but not with crypto for whatever reason. And even with gold and silver rising, we were expecting that capital rotation. It didn't happen. And that's just very discouraging for a lot of crypto holders. So that's the sad news. It's fine. We'll see how low we can go here. So far, we are down 8% on this, is it? Yeah, 8.81. Wow. Same with Chainlink. There you go. I'm content I did not buy. $10.71 is where it's at. I'll wait for the $10. Maybe I will go long on Chainlink. Chainlink is one of the few that I might just go long on. And then, of course, $8. $10, $8, 2 good positions there. You're safe. There's no way Chainlink can go much lower than that. Right? Chainlink has a fixed supply, if I'm not mistaken. So we don't got to worry about the inflationary aspect. Now, it depends on how the tokenomics work of how this gets unlocked. But even still, like, Chainlink, very good project. We won't have to worry about price going down forever, like something such as Shiba Inu. I should have shorted that thing. I did, didn't I? What did I do with Shiba Inu? I did short it. I could have been making even more profit. I got scared, okay? I thought this thing was going to reverse against me because of these little peaks over here. But no, there we are, making new lows on Shiba Inu if you truly care about a meme coin. There you go. There you go. Still making new lows. It will go to... I want to say 0, but like it's already at 0 technically. Like, is this even a penny? Yeah, it's just not going to do much. Until, of course, people decide that, yeah, let's go max long. Here's BitTensor. Here's the support level that we were looking at. 209 to 206. We hit a low of 210. The short position that I proposed would have been going excellent. This is the second one that I proposed. And I was too chicken to enter the short position because I wanted BitTensor to rise a little higher. This is me just being very picky and wanting the price to do kind of what I expect it to. Yeah, the risk-reward ratio wasn't great, but if I used maybe like a tighter stop loss around right above this high, because we did have this, you know, this is what we were looking at yesterday. Yeah, 1 to 3 risk-reward ratio at that same target would have made a bit more sense. Probably a little closer, of course. I don't know, I probably would have gone for 2.5. 2.5, we would still be waiting at this point. Who knows? Yeah, would have worked out well though. So movement kind of predicted. Kind of. There you go. That's what we do on the channel. Monero didn't get the rise that we were hoping for. I wanted it to break above 517, but looks like we're going to be heading lower here as well. 380. 380 to 400, I think, is one of the levels I mentioned. Possible area of accumulation. Possible. I don't know. The volatility was huge from the previous weeks. Lovely. I just deleted the whole thing. And then, of course, it's 310. Why doesn't it show? Why are you being rebellious? Am I just never going to be able to see them on the sides? Yep, never going to be able to see them. I think we're adopting more with this update, whatever this update was on BingX. We're updating it from TradingView's charts. We're using TradingView charts, of course. And they disabled that function on the pivots level, which means that other indicators would have also gotten some form of an update too, which may be good. I don't see it for the super trend or RSI. The RSI has like the RSI on TradingView is cooler because it has like the shading when it is overbought or oversold, like the red shading or the green shading, whichever color you pick, right? And then same thing with the super trend. It also has like some form of shading when the trend is up or down. That's what I like to see, the colors, right? Anyways, I'm not going to go pull it up. Who cares about colors? You guys are probably only listening to this by audio. Shout out if you're watching on video. Aptos, I kind of also did want to propose a short trade, but it didn't rise as long enough, so I ended up deleting it. But yeah, it would have technically worked out as well. Everything shortable, you know, you get it. We hit a low of 142 on Aptos. Current price is 144. Losing the 150 support was tragic, and this was already foreshadowing that, so here we are again. This is the all-time low of Aptos. What are you doing? What is this thing doing? Okay. 141.57. And we touched 142.09. We're about to continue making newer lows on Aptos. I don't know how much longer I can tolerate this, so yeah, still staying out of it. Should have shorted it. It is what it is. I'll just stick with what's the good stuff. The thing that is probably rising in dominance, and I could tell you without even looking at the chart, for a matter of fact, that Bitcoin is rising in chart dominance. Here's the shading, by the way, now that I'm on TradingView. The shading for the super trend lines, and then the shading for the RSI. Does it just not show anymore? Did they remove it? Overbought gradient fill, oversold gradient fill. Yeah, it is there, but I guess it's not large enough for you to see. I'll find another one later, I guess. That's not what I wanted. Oh, okay. Well, Bitcoin dominance is dropping. Why? Probably stable coins. That's all I could really imagine. Because what altcoin is rising against Bitcoin right now, realistically? I don't see anything on the rise. Canton, I mean, that doesn't count. Everything else is dropping. Layer 0, what even is that? Random projects, those do not count. It's likely just stable coins. People are just selling off and holding on stable coins. It's likely the case. Wouldn't surprise me if these are at all-time high in market cap. Kind of. Let me go shorter time frame. Okay, well, proven wrong. There you go. Tether is just gone. I think it's just money leaving the whole crypto space in general. USDC market cap is also on its way down from 76 billion to 7 billion, 70 billion. Whoops. Okay, well, that just disproves everything. Where is the money going? What is going on with this dominance? Could I ask AI? Like, this is the point where I would pull out the AI. Why is that not making any sense? Why is Bitcoin dominance dropping today? What is rising against Bitcoin in the crypto market cap? Because that doesn't make sense. It went for 59. I'm complaining about a 1% drop, by the way, but sure. Mainly because Bitcoin's price fell down sharply, underperforming the broader market amid macro pressure like a strong dollar, gold, silver rallies, pulling capital away, and ETF outflows. Am I late on that too? Dollar index was not on the rise. I'm about to be proven wrong. Because we held rates, actually. Yeah, okay. We held rates. That makes sense. We didn't cut yesterday at the FOMC. It didn't strengthen the dollar because we didn't get confirmation of rate hikes. That was completely ruled out by Jerome Powell. He said, here's the shading, by the way, on the RSI. But we didn't cut the dollar. Sorry, we didn't cut rates either, which didn't weaken the dollar. So we kind of held it steady in that sense. That makes some sense. Okay, cool. Can we talk about gold though? What was this drop over here? A 7% drop in 4 hours, just out of the blue. Happened this morning. I was busy working, so I was not really paying much attention to it until afterwards, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, gold is selling off." And I'm like, "Well, that's great. I'm not in it." But yeah. Still didn't answer my question. Hello, come back. Rising against Bitcoin is altcoins like Ethereum. That is just not right. Arbitrum, Avalanche, Cardano, others, they're showing stronger gains today. This is what's going to take your job one day, by the way. Yeah, we're up so much today, like it's telling so much of the truth. 7% down on Bitcoin though. Is that real? 7% drop? That's a big drop. Yeah, 7-8%. Okay. That sucks, but we should slow down here, okay? If you want something reaffirming, is that we should slow down here. No lower than 80,000. Prohibited. Satan. Okay? We'll be fine. Let's move on to our crypto news. I think, how long have I been yapping about altcoins? Oh, 26 minutes. That is way too long. Sorry. So, yeah, there is stuff happening in the world. Probably causing some downward pressure as well. People fearing that something may happen over here in Iran. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth declares that the massive armada now deployed to the Middle East will be ready to take action against Iran. Yeah, we kind of knew that. When will it take action? And maybe I spoke too soon yesterday. Yesterday I was all about this, yeah, when is Trump going to do the invasion on Iran? Like, just get it over with. Protesters are dying every day. Does Trump really care about protesters? I mean, we had 2 of them, pretty and good, dying from ICE raids. I mean, yeah, arguably for a different cause. It's their fault for standing in the way of ICE. What did you expect? But, I mean, these are actual civilians in Iran. Innocent people just getting shot by their own government. And the numbers just keep increasing every day. And there's children involved in there too. So something's got to be done. And the more you delay, the more casualties there are. So get a quick one and done, topple the regime, move on. But they want to ensure that they give the regime they want to make sure they give Iran a regime toppling blow so that they don't retaliate. We install a pro-democratic government, I assume. That's what we probably want. A pro-Israel government, as weird as that sounds. And that way, yeah, we don't have to worry about a retaliation from Iran. Otherwise, it's going to be costly, right? That is part of the reason why we did not attack Iran. Was it last week or the week before? When it seemed like we were about to do it, Polymarkets traders were going max on their bets, saying it's going to happen tonight. The Pentagon Pizza thing. It's going to happen tonight. Apparently, Pentagon Pizza is still at all-time highs. It's been at all-time highs. It seems like every night at this point. Or maybe I'm just following the wrong accounts that are just bold posting that for whatever reason. I don't know. I think they're running out of stuff to post. I saw them saying like, oh, the gay bars are at an all-time high in activity near the Pentagon. It's like, okay, what are we even reporting? Is this a meme at this point, or is this actually true? It doesn't make sense to me. But look at these other people. Countdown to war with Iran. Live coverage, says Alex Jones. I think that's it. Nobody else is talking about Iran. Except for me. Anyways, yeah, just get it over with. Please and thank you. The U.S. naval buildup in the Middle East now includes 4 destroyers, plus the Lincoln. The Lincoln was the ship that we were waiting for to come from Asia, which took a week to arrive, and now it is there. That's part of the reason why we didn't attack those past couple of weeks ago, was because we didn't have the assurance that we would be able to deliver a regime toppling blow, or that we would be able to defend against any counterattack that would inevitably come from Iran. So yeah, here's the carrier strike group that arrived in the Arabian Sea this week with the USS Spruance, Michael Murphy, and Frank E. Peterson Jr. The USS Delbert D. Black just transited the Suez Canal into the Red Sea. That's a lot of Tomahawk launchers in one neighborhood. Trump debriefed on big plan to bomb Iran. The White House and the Pentagon have presented multiple attack options, including a large-scale bombing campaign targeting regime and IRGC facilities. Well, yeah, that's the best way to do it. Less aggressive options include strikes on symbolic targets, with room to escalate, cyber attacks on Iranian banks, or tougher sanctions. Their economy is done. I need tea. Okay. So, let's talk about this. Cyber attacks on Iranian banks. What are you going to cyber attack? Their currency, the rial, the Iranian rial, is at an all-time low. It's garbage. Nobody's going to use it ever. Tougher sanctions. How much more tougher can we get them? Higher tariffs. That's really it. Just going to pressure them economically even more than they already are economically pressured. And then attack on symbolic targets with room to escalate. No, if you're going to attack them, they will just retaliate. No questions asked. So you're going to ruin any chance of like them coming to the table to negotiate any deal. Their time for that has kind of run out at this point, in my opinion. They're still doing the killing of civilians, as I'm aware. I don't know. The internet is still shut down. We don't get much updates from them. So yeah. Iran agrees to end its nuclear work or the pressure ramps up. Okay, I think it's... What about the protesters? I thought that was a condition. The nuclear stuff was done last year. Tehran residents report loud sounds. Air defenses are activated. I'm not reading all that. Oh, great. My browser is not responding again. I guess I'll read it then. Multiple sources in the Yaftabad neighborhood heard the activity, but this appears to be a training exercise. Oh, boo, come on. Iran issued a NOTAM for live fire drills from January 27 to 29 to test readiness against external threats. That was for the past 2 days. Today's the 29th. With U.S. assets surging into the region, Tehran is running dress rehearsals. All right. Am I going to be stuck here? Come on. Okay. Can I close this? Oh yeah. How did it work yesterday? Task Manager. I'm going to delete this. No, how do I actually do this? What is killing my RAM? Hello? Is it this? Nope. Yeah, the browser's just stuck. Oh. There we go. Okay, cool. It just deleted on its own. Yeah, I mean, there was not much else to cover from that. Those are old news. This is the big news. Part of the big news, at least, that I see. Iran's presidential aircraft is en route to Moscow on an unscheduled flight. Government officials fleeing to Moscow. This is literally what we talked about Khamenei Jr. It's not Junior. I keep saying Junior. It looks like a J. Ayatollah planning on escaping to Moscow if things, hit the fan. If it got real, if the war was about to happen. Seems like he is already fleeing, if he is in this aircraft. Is he in the aircraft, or if the president is on the aircraft? Doesn't seem like it. It confirms on Flight Radar 24 that the Iranian government aircraft departed Tehran for Moscow on January 29, today. However, there's no official confirmation that President Pezeshkian is on board. Speculation points to other senior officials, possibly traveling for talks amid US-Iran tensions. That's boring. I want to see the Ayatollah fleeing. Something, come on, give us something. But anyways, that's still happening. Cuba is another topic that Trump has decided to bring up again, and there's so much that is talked about here, so I'm just literally searching up the term and going through it. This says the president just gave an executive order that he will put tariffs to every country that sends oil to the dictatorship in Cuba. Our community, Cuban American community, are very thankful for his decisive action against the regime. The end is near. There you go. Live translation for you guys, hey? What else do we have? Trump just signs an executive order declaring a national emergency regarding communist Cuba and prepares tariffs on countries supplying them oil. Yeah, that's basically the big news. Trump had this reporter Q&A going on. Trump says that communist Cuba is likely to fall soon after his emergency executive order. He says that Cuba is a failing nation. I think Cuba will not be able to survive. We are reclaiming the Western Hemisphere with Trump and Marco Rubio. Let's not forget, Mexico got ahead of the curve, which we covered. They actually stopped supplying Cuba first with oil. Amid fears that Trump is about to announce something like this, and today it was announced. She is one step ahead of the curve. Here, Claudia Sheinbaum. We will continue sending oil to Cuba because we are humanitarian and Mexico is free and sovereign. That's why I'm saying we will stop sending them oil. Because after Trump, get it, meme. Anyways. Yeah, so we did see that news. Interesting. Okay. So first it was Venezuela, now it's Cuba. We're taking them down one by one. Seems like our focus is on Iran, possibly, for the weekend. But for Cuba, this is like a first step. Okay, how about Canada? What is going on here? Mark Carney confirmed that Canada entered a new trade agreement with China. This is after Mark Carney told the US that we did not. We only removed some tariffs. Let's hope that the US doesn't watch the Canadian news. Literally this, Trump was like, I better not hear Canada making any deals with China over there. And then Mark Carney was like, oh, guys, don't worry. We're not making any deals with China. And then he just says here, yeah, guys, we just made a deal with China. So which is it, Mr. Prime Minister? What are we doing? What are we doing? Well, Trump was already informed, so El Bozo, what are we going to do now? Reporter asks, what do you think about the UK getting into business with China? Snitch, by the way. We did talk about Keir Starmer going to China yesterday. Trump says, well, it's very dangerous for them to do that. And it's even more dangerous, I think, for Canada to get into business with China. So there you go. And he responded with this lovely post on Truth Social. Based on the fact that Canada has wrongfully, illegally, and steadfastly refused to certify the Gulfstream 500, 600, 700, 800 jets, this is about plane stuff. One of the greatest, most technologically advanced airplanes ever made. We are hereby decertifying their Bombardier Global Express and all aircraft made in Canada until such time as Gulfstream, a great American company, is fully certified as it should have been many years ago. Furthermore, Canada is effectively prohibiting the sale of Gulfstream products in Canada through this very same certification process. If for any reason the situation is not immediately corrected, I'm going to charge Canada a 50% tariff on any and all aircraft sold into the United States of America. So he's attacking them through a different angle. He's like, what can we blame Canada for this time? Oh, aircraft? Okay, sure. Let's give them a 50% tariff on aircraft. That's the attack angle. So hey, thanks, Trump. Hello, Crypto Squid. Welcome. What else are we doing in Canada? Something maybe positive? Canada will start requiring refugees and asylum seekers to co-pay 30% of their health services such as dental care, physiotherapy, and optometry starting May 1st. Good. All the help should be going to actual Canadian citizens, not temporary people or refugees. Yeah, they should get some help. And they would only have to pay they would have to co-pay 30% of any healthcare services. They will also be billed a $4 fixed charge for each prescription. Otherwise, these guys are going to be taking away this stuff from actual Canadian citizens. So that's decent. I'll give credit where it's due. Trump is looking at Robinhood to manage the Trump accounts for newborns. We talked about the Trump accounts yesterday. Seems like Robinhood partnership might be up there soon. Robinhood managing government-seeded investment accounts for newborns. That's the funniest timeline. So babies born between 2025 to 28 are about to be meme stock investors before they can speak. That's funny. $1,000 at birth. You get 5,800 by age of 18. We looked through the math yesterday. They will have no idea what diamond hands means until they're old enough to check the app. That's funny. So, hey, cool. Maybe on Robinhood you'll have this other option like open, I don't know what American accounts are, IRA or non-registered account. And then you'll just see a Trump account for your newborn. Do you guys have a education savings plan? We do in Canada. We have a retirement savings plan, education, tax-free, and first home savings account as well, which they're all pretty useless. No, not really. They have their benefits. Very specific, though. Like you have to use your retirement for your retirement. Otherwise, you just, it's not like you lose your money. It's just you have to pay taxes on it. I mean, you always have to pay tax, even when you take the money back. So it's like, what's the point of doing that? You're just locking up your money until, by force, you are at the age of retirement. So that's kind of useless. Just have it in a non-registered account or something. If you're going to pay taxes on it anyway. They say, oh, it's for tax deferral purposes. Dude, just pay your taxes. I saw this meme where it was, anyways, no, I'm not going to talk about that. Okay. Speaking of taxes, wow, right on topic. I was not even looking at the post. Trump and his sons are suing the IRS and Treasury for $10 billion over the leaking of his tax records. Yes, it's time for everybody who wronged the President Trump to FAFO, including the IRS. Says the IRS wrongly allowed a rogue, politically motivated employee to leak private and confidential information about President Trump, his family, and the Trump Organization to the New York Times, ProPublica, and other left-wing news outlets, which was then illegally released to millions of people. Yeah, imagine you getting your taxes just shown to the whole world. He's trying to replace Social Security, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't really think about it that way. But yeah, that's what Trump is doing here. Here's Melania too, by the way. She came out with some documentary, which, by the way, who cares? But okay, thanks, Melania. President Trump says that he will be announcing the new Federal Reserve Chair tomorrow morning. Literally spoken minutes ago. And now we know, we don't know, we kind of know. The odds for, Bitcoin-friendly Kevin Warsh to get the job have suddenly spiked to 88%, according to Polymarket. Why? I mean, yeah, we did expect it was either going to be Kevin, or BlackRock guy. The odds for BlackRock guy were at a high point last week. But then suddenly we were like, I don't know, the odds of him winning it kind of dropped again. I'm trying to find Polymarket, unless, yeah, this is kind of here. I'll find it myself. Fed chair. We were looking at this just yesterday, actually. Who will Trump nominate as Fed chair? We saw Waller potentially being one of the candidates, but I was hoping it was going to be Kevin Warsh, and looks like it might actually be Kevin Warsh. Look at that, 95% chance. People were saying like, oh my gosh, look, it rose to 88% chance that Kevin Warsh is going to be the next Fed chair. And Rick Ryder, he's dropped to 6%, which is crazy. He was at 50%, by the way. And Kevin Warsh was sub 30%, I think. So I don't know who leaked it, but it looks like Kevin Warsh is about to be the next Fed chair. Which I don't mind. I don't mind Kevin Warsh being the next Fed chair. If you don't know who he was a Fed governor until I think he stepped down for a bit. And then he's currently not serving, but he could come back as the Fed chair, so he does have the experience from what I'm aware. Let's do a bit of research on the guy, actually. Yeah, former member of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors of the United States. So he's basically as important as any of these other guys like Christopher Waller or Stephen Moran, Michelle Bowman, etc. So, yeah, looks like he's coming on. Oh, look at this. The money. $1. What are you, broke? $1,000 bet. At this 95% chance. That's crazy. I could vote no on obvious ones, and I was trying to yesterday, but it didn't let me, and it actually crashed. Dude, I could have been making so much money. I literally voted no on Scott Bessent, and it didn't allow me to put money. 30902. Imagine it is Scott Bessent though. That would be crazy. No, but it's looking like it's gonna be Kevin Warsh. Which yeah, I'm fine with that. Now, this causes some nervousness because, like I explained earlier, it's gonna be like this situation. Oh, isn't the Fed supposed to be this independent institution, right? To determine on their own end whether or not we should be cutting or hiking rates, whatever the case may be, and that the president should not have any influence over that person. Well, Trump made it his top priority that whoever I appoint as Fed chair is going to have to do what I say and cut rates the way that I want them to. And he wants rates at basically 0. 1% is kind of what he's been calling for. For the record, rates are currently at 3.75%. If you cut rates that low, yeah, money printer turns on. It's easier to borrow money in the United States. It'll get the money flowing, which should be good for the economy. You know, businesses, more people spending, more businesses would make more revenue. They would be able to, you know, innovate more and etc., right? But the issue would be with inflation. And if you get too out of control, yeah, inflation will get out of control. That is why the Fed always looks at inflation. They want to make sure that inflation is not already high before they start being like, okay, yeah, we're good to cut rates. Inflation is not on the rise. It's kind of coming down. We could kick the money printer on a little bit, right? And overall, with all that extra money that exists, yes, you're inflating the supply, which should eventually come into the crypto market eventually. But does it really matter? The money already exists. We're seeing trillions in and out of gold and silver, as we mentioned. But none of it's coming into crypto, which that is our next subject. Not our next subject. Well, first we have other stuff to talk about. Another angle of the Alex Pretty, I'm going to kick your vehicle and spit on you. This is the peaceful protester, by the way. There he is. Just he kicks down the light from this car, which we showed the video yesterday. This was a video taken 11 days prior to his death. You know, the Minnesota protester killed by ICE. Yeah, apparently, and I did mention yesterday, it didn't look like he had his gun holstered on him. Apparently, he still did in this clip. It just showed it a little later. I don't know, I kind of missed it. The video was in 144p, so I was not about to watch all that, but there you go. January 13th, confirmed. He's no saint. Yeah, moving on. I don't think we'll have to talk about him ever again. White House and Senate Democrats, they agree on a spending deal. The chance of a government shutdown have plummeted. That should be good, right? Speaking of ICE, right? Because the Democrats didn't want to, you know, the funding to go to ICE, any funding to go to ICE because of these incidents that have been happening with pretty good. So they were threatening to hold the government hostage over this issue, and it seems like they came to some form of an agreement here. Here's some more details. The U.S. government shutdown was averted as of late January 29, 2026. Multiple reliable resources report that a bipartisan deal was reached on Thursday, January 29, between Senate Democrats, Republicans, and the White House. This agreement advances spending bills to fund most federal agencies through September 2026, the end of the fiscal year, while providing a short-term extension for like 2 weeks, especially for the Department of Homeland Security, to allow further negotiations on immigration enforcement and related issues like ICE reforms. Great. So the best solution to everything is just to delay it. That's lovely. It seems like that was the same solution that we gave on the last government shutdown that we had. They were giving this whole the Democrats were making a big deal about the the Medicaid situation or whatever it was for illegal aliens or whatever. And we were like, yeah, we're not going to extend Obamacare, and we're just going to delay your decision until January. I don't even know what even came out from that. Yep. Hello, Dean. Why is the futures down? Everything is down. Partially because of tensions escalating in Iran. New Fed Chair Governor pick, uncertainty on that. That's what I would say. We didn't cut rates yesterday. That didn't really weaken the dollar. So if the dollar isn't weak, things shouldn't rise against it. And I think gold topped out for now. I think it's safe to say that. We had a huge move on gold today, which I'll get into in just a second. Okay, well, that's not what I wanted. US jobless claims as well came in. More jobless claims. That should be good, right? Improve our odds for rate cuts, maybe. The US Senate Agriculture Committee advanced the Digital Commodity Intermediaries Act, which moves US crypto and market structure legislation forward. That should be a good thing, but it's just overshadowed by other macroeconomic factors is what it seems like. The crypto market structure bill has passed because of Republicans, as every Democrat voted no. There you go. The Democrats delayed it last time. We're like, hey, you're only giving us 3 days to read this huge Bible of a document that we don't even know what a crypto is. So, hey, give us until the end of the month, and we'll give you our decision. Well, here we are, end of month, today, January 29, after also being delayed from a snowstorm. They're back and they're like, yeah, we're going to vote against this bill. And thankfully, Republicans came to the rescue here because they managed to pass it, at least the first part of it, right? The chairman just called the roll and confirmed the bill passes and will be reported. The votes were 12 to 11. Crypto regulation is no longer a debate. It's actively being written into U.S. law. The U.S. Senate Agriculture Committee has just passed the crypto market structure bill. The other guys, though, the banking committee or whatever, they're delaying it again. So we have to still wait. Either way, this bill will give the Commodities Futures Trading Committee, I don't even know that's what it stands for. I always forget. It gives them the primary authority, the CFTC, to regulate Bitcoin, which would be treated as a commodity, not a security, because the SEC deals with securities, not the CFTC. Next step is a full Senate vote, House coordination, and President Trump's signature, which he has already agreed to. He did talk about it. He's like, I can't wait for these guys to sign it on Thursday. And we got to, I guess, just wait whatever is next. House coordination. Okay. Good. So this happened. Bitcoin dropped to, it was 81,000. $750 million worth of leveraged longs are liquidated in 60 minutes. We looked at the other liquidation map. It was about 1 billion. And the rest of the crypto market. Oh, there it is. $1.75 billion worth of leveraged crypto longs have been liquidated today. Lovely. Bitcoin is now officially down 3.5% year to date. And if we close January down, it will be the 4th straight down month. We've never had that before, actually. We've never had 4 consecutive down months ever since... Well, since 7 years ago, I guess. What date is this? Would have been 2016? Oh, 2019. 2018, honestly. Yep. And now we're about to have our 4th consecutive down month on here on Bitcoin. Surely next month is a reversal, right? Yeah, I'm kind of a bit sad that Bitcoin didn't end the month above 100,000. So this just further confirms that we are in a bear market. If you look at the weekly chart, it does not look any better, right? So maybe this the super trend 10-3 was correct. Although if you look at the 10-5, sorry, the 5-5 super trend, let me turn this on. This is what it looks like. Oh, actually it's about to flip red as well, if you could kind of see that. I was looking at this before, I was like, okay, it looks like whatever this number is. I hate that it doesn't show me anymore. 85,000 would be the invalidation zone. Yes, it reacts a bit later, but it does still kind of confirm that, maybe hopium, that we're at the low point of a potential reversal. But this candle that we're seeing right now on the weekly chart, it's just about to invalidate everything. So I don't know. I don't keep my hopes up that much. I'm gonna hide that again and turn this back on. Okay, good. Am I holding? I am only Bitcoin right now. I'm staying out of alts, honestly. Because Bitcoin, I know how low it can go. No lower than 66,000, and that is like an absolute worst case scenario. And I don't even think we're even going to see close to that. If anything, like actually worst case, I'd expect 75,000, which even at 75,000, I'd still be willing to just continue DCAing into Bitcoin all that time. So I wouldn't mind a drop below 80,000. I wouldn't like it, and I'm still going to be accumulating at 80,000 plus. My average price you can see is 87,000. So I'm still going to be accumulating there. But for altcoins, I'm staying out of it. A lot of my alt positions have already been liquidated, and a lot of them are also in a bearish weekly chart, right? So the trend is down for a lot of them. And, you know, a lot of altcoins have the problem with inflation and, you know, lack of utility or whatever. People not really caring too much about altcoins during this season, this era of the market. So it's better to take things slow and just focus on the only thing that you know will recover, because you don't know whether or not other altcoins will recover. So I'm sticking with only Bitcoin for now. Huge crash in the markets. Gold is down 8.2%. It's wiped out nearly $3 trillion from its market cap. Silver dumped 12%, and that erased $760 billion from its market cap. The S&P 500 fell 1.23%. It erased $780 billion. The Nasdaq crashed 2.5%, wiped out $760 billion. So that's trillions of dollars in total erased across metals and equities in 1 hour in the morning. The sad news is that none of that came into crypto, right? Spot gold erasing $2.6 trillion in market cap in a single hourly candle. That's basically the entire market cap of the whole crypto market. Strange dump that it was. I'm not going to repeat the numbers. Did that money flow into Bitcoin and alts? It did not. Crypto went down too, and it erased nearly $100 billion from its market cap as well. So, you know, gold and silver making all-time highs. Bitcoin, it's in a downtrend. It's on its way down. Okay, fine. Gold corrects and silver drops. Will that money come into crypto? No, that stuff is just gonna, crypto is just gonna keep dropping, you know, because gold and silver are dropping, right? If gold and silver rise, we drop. If gold and silver drop, we also drop. So there's no winning, is what it seems like at this case. But I'm still taking this as a good opportunity to accumulate either way. I still have faith in the project, of course, so I'm not going to shy away from it now. And what are you going to do? Buy gold and silver at these high prices? What are you, crazy? I'm not going to do that. So yeah. You're speculating to see if you should dump Solana. It sucks. And you have Bitmine too. Yeah. Bitmine relies heavily on Ethereum. And then you have Solana too. I think Solana, they'll still do well. Like, those are projects that are not going to go away. But during this tough time, it's, you're in for, you know, a storm to hold it through. Now, I don't think it's going to last for a long time. I do believe that something is off with the cycle. Yeah, sure, it kind of points towards we're in a bear market, but a lot of different stuff happened with that kind of, you know, it says that we didn't really have a really good bull cycle, right? Or maybe that's just, I don't know, lack of confidence. We thought we were getting all the confidence into the crypto market from all these ETFs getting approved and everything like that. But hey, once again, the famous shutdown kind of delayed all that. And whatever excuse of tariff that we had on China, that made crypto crash on October 10, and it killed the whole thing. So yeah, you shorted gold and you're looking for a long scalp, been on fire. That's good. The volatility is there, so that's good that you're doing that. Liquidity from gold and silver correction isn't going to flow into your alts. There are other things you need to look at. Things like the Clarity Act being signed into law, the SEC allowing crypto access and 401k retirement accounts. This was super bullish. Less global geopolitical tension, etc. I mean, we're about to go to war with Iran, so yeah. And if those happen, so Clarity Act, 401k retirement accounts, I thought that was already a thing. I'm going to Google this right now. and less geopolitical tension. That's why I also want, you know, this thing with Iran, get it over with. Just bomb them, and, you know, we don't have to worry about Iran ever again. Don't bomb all of Iran, of course. I'm saying, like, get rid of the regime change. But who am I to advocate for another country's politics? Has the SEC allowed crypto access in 401k retirement accounts? Yeah, it did. So what's the deal here? And why this is important as well, opening the crypto investments to 401k retirement plans, is that every American, a lot of them, have this. And in total, the amount of money invested through this as a retirement plan, it estimates to be about $9 to $12 trillion. Last I checked, at least 10 trillion. And that's money that could flow into crypto now that the access is open. You originally had the option of only investing in the S&P 500 or ETFs or whatnot, but now you have the ability to invest into crypto. Now, will people all decide to just get rid of whatever their long-term investments were in stocks and go all in on crypto, and will $10 trillion flow into the market cap? No, that's not going to happen. It will happen little by little, though. The old people move on to a better life. The young people that we are right now will get older. We've all heard about crypto. That's why you're watching me. And yeah, I'm probably going to do this. I'm probably going to have some Bitcoin in my retirement account. And matter of fact, the Bitcoin that I do have is my retirement account. That's kind of what I've set it out to be. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to hold this crypto and spot, and I'm not going to sell it. I've just done this pact, and I will not sell it. I think I still have it. I don't even remember. I might have sold it. I don't think I did. I think I still have it. It's been a while, okay? It's been since 2021. And any money that I do get, of course, I don't like having it sit in the bank. I either pay off debt and then invest the rest, or, I mean, that's the only option, really. But yeah, that's just me, though. This is a great example. When gold drops, so does Bitcoin. There was no rotation. Nobody likes to hear it, but it is what the markets tell us. There was no rotation from Bitcoin into alts, just like there will be no rotation from metals into crypto, says Benjamin Cowan. Good analyst. I do not make the rules. Okay. 3 a.m. tweet, by the way. What are you doing? Are you okay? Anyways. MicroStrategy, not doing any better, dude. The prices have dropped to levels we have not seen since September 2024. What happened in September 2024? This was when Donald won the election. So we're that low with MicroStrategy. I've still been DCAing into MicroStrategy little by little. You know what I did? I took profits on Meta. I think Meta had a huge rise today. Or just in general, I think. What did I do with Meta? 10% rise. Yeah, look at this. Wow. I was on my phone and I was like, I didn't have a good access to a chart. Oh, look, I got paid from work. That's too little, dude. That is way too little. I just got paid from work. Okay. Sorry. Let me go to my investment account, see how much I sold Meta for. Was this my average price? That's pathetic if it was. How much was it at? Where do I see my trades? Meta, here, sell. I sold it at... I made $63, okay, with 24 shares at 39.46 Canadian each. What? 39.46? No, that's where I sold it. Okay, that makes sense. How much did I buy it? How much was my average price? Is it just not going to tell me? I guess I should have just bought it. Meta. Did I just never buy it? I think I have to search it here manually. You guys can't see it. It's on my phone. Meta. I have to manually search for it. Okay. Canadian version. I know I'm using Canadian version of it, so it's going to be difficult to understand. Oh, I even got a dividend too. 68 cents. Haha. That is so rich. 3203. That was my last purchase. So I bought like around down over here. That was just be part of the DCA, though my average price would have been around here. And I sold it up here now. I don't know. I feel like my average price was lower. And it's not going to tell me what the average price was. That is annoying. Okay, well, that's on me, I guess. I should have been active in looking at this every day. But whatever. And, I mean, MicroStrategy was the other one, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah, these are new lows. Okay. And I'm looking at the Canadian version. Okay, let me go to American. Here we go. So my average price is around maybe 230. I don't know. Changing that over to American. Current price is 143. And yeah, we have not seen this since September 2024. MicroStrategy has already lost all of its power, its MNAV, right? The multiplier value that it had against Bitcoin, which made it an attractive asset. Meaning that during the rise, when this was like at 3x, whatever Bitcoin would move, we had a significant move on MicroStrategy. And then when Bitcoin hit its actual all-time high, you see the difference already. It was not even in July, we hit our all-time high in October. This was Bitcoin's all-time high, and look where MicroStrategy's price is. A lot lower from over here. So it's just, it's been losing its power, right? And that's become an exponential thing. Wouldn't surprise me if MicroStrategy does go lower than, you know, even these prices. At these prices, you would expect Bitcoin to be around 60,000. We're not even at 60,000. We're still at 80, holding it above 80,000, barely. So it does not look good for MicroStrategy, but we still have faith in Saylor, of course, so we will buy his stock. How you blowing, Chunks? How you doing? Sad to say, I might actually be negative on all my time on my all-time crypto investments. We all are, man. Stock's still holding the account above water, though, for now. That's a good thing, yeah. I also took advantage of the stocks, like I said. I took advantage of Meta, sold that. Where did I sell it? I have to note it down. What do I use? I use this. Whatever, I'll assume my average price was there, and I sold around over here. Tiny profit, but whatever. And I'm happy. Like, I was expecting Meta to recover something like this, so it finally happened today. And the same thing with Nvidia. This was my average price, and I'm like taking profit around over here. It's not the best, but it's whatever. And I used it to buy more ETFs, more Solana, more XRP, Ethereum, and 2 Bitcoin ETFs. I'm also investing in BitO, which is it's basically another Bitcoin ETF, but it gives you some really good dividends if you hold on to it for a while. Yes, it's kind of crashing, we all know that. And next dividend payout should happen soon, literally in a couple of days. So if you do want to get into it a bit early, now's your chance. You get cheap Bitcoin on an ETF and a guaranteed dividend. Not guaranteed, nothing's guaranteed. And the dividend is it's a pretty high payout, right? I have, how much do I have? So it was, how many do I have in here? 231, but I have more. Plus 170, plus 170. I have 571 shares of this thing, okay? You do the math. If you get a dividend of 0.74 for each share, 77, 74 cents, 83 cents, 75. I'm going to average it to like 77. Is that a fair number? 86. Look, I'll average this out to 77. What did I just do? Go back, please. No. Fine. I accidentally hit my space bar. That's what it was. So if you multiply this by 77 cents, I get $439.67. Having invested about 10K, I think that is, with the 571 shares that I said. That's not too bad. That is not too bad at all. And it's basically like buying Bitcoin, right? I've even drawn out these levels that I'm familiar with. Like, we hit this peak when Bitcoin was at 98,000, meaning that $13.60 is the 98,000 equivalent to Bitcoin. If you ask AI, like, oh, is this a good investment? They'll tell you, like, long term, no, because it decays over time, kind of. But it's very slight, and you expect Bitcoin to be much higher either way. So, you know, profit is profit. This thing is going to go up if Bitcoin does go up. It mirrors the Bitcoin's price movement 1 to 99. I'm not going to say 1 to 1, okay? Because it is slightly off, very slightly, but the movement is practically the same. You had a big fat drop on Bitcoin, you have the big fat drop on Bito. You have a good rise, you hit 98,000 on Bitcoin, you have the rise here to the equivalent of that 1360, right? This was when Bitcoin was holding above 100,000. These two support levels, you remember that? Same deal over here. I want to find it here. Here's the two support levels at 100,000 Bitcoin, you see? That's basically the same equivalent. Does that difference make a... Am I saying this right? Does that difference make sense? Is it reasonable? Like, this is the 100,000 line, this is 98,000, we did hit that. It makes sense, right? It moves basically 1 to 1. So, and you get a nice dividend with it. So, I'm content with that. Anyways, enough stocks talk. Let's talk about copper. 10,000 years of copper will be mined over the next 18 years. Copper shortage has officially begun. If you want to get into the next gold or silver, now that the darn cryptos are not rising, the next metal would probably be copper. I'll agree with that. It will continuously worsen. Breaking out of a 20-year resistance, copper prices are about to skyrocket. This is an easy 2 to 5x within the next 14 months. Hey, if you say so, man. Weren't we already at an all-time high with copper? I think I was too late to invest in it. That's why I didn't. I looked at it like last week, I think. XCU is copper. Yeah, this is all-time high. Was. Look, this is my previous analysis. Yeah, $6.62. Congrats. We should go sell our copper wire. Current price is $6.06. Same crash that we saw with gold and silver today. You know, of this magnitude, but this is like trillions of dollars. This right here, the 7% drop in gold, is the entire crypto market cap. Like that, in less than 1 hour. You have the ability to 2x everything in crypto right here, right now, with the amount of money that was traded, I guess, or the amount of money that was dropped right here. And even still, gold is still in its uptrend. So like we can still continue recovering and go higher from here. That's not out of the question. The super trend invalidates at 5,056. It's a really strong one. But I don't know who keeps buying this thing. How much more money can you put into this darn brick of... What is gold made out of? Gold? 36 trillion market cap. Bitcoin's market cap is now 1.6 trillion. Yeah, we lost about 100 billion in market cap there. None of it is coming into crypto, which is disappointing. It's only a matter of time, though. That's what I believe. And I will firmly believe that until I die. Kazakhstan will build a national crypto reserve using their seized Bitcoin. Another one bites the dust in a good way. They're copying the United States. The United States is one of the first to do this, using the seized Bitcoin assets, crypto assets, to create a strategic reserve. Other countries will follow, and then maybe they'll start accumulating. And yeah, you know, the big institutions, I think, are behind the massive move on gold and silver. So is maybe China, from what I'm aware of. They like buying a lot of that. So, yep. It's only a matter of time before they start looking at crypto after they see how big gold and silver become, right? We'll see. As authorities shut down 130 illegal exchanges and seize millions in assets, Kazakhstan's central bank has announced it will allocate $350 million using confiscated crypto to bolster national crypto reserves. Nice. When was this announced? Today. Okay, great. Good. Good news. 2026 IPOs. I did mention I would talk about this in the title, so we're expecting SpaceX, OpenAI, Anthropic. SpaceX is probably going to be the biggest IPO ever at a $1.5 trillion valuation. OpenAI was expected to be $1 trillion plus, and Anthropic is expected to be at $500 billion plus. There are reports that Elon Musk is considering merging SpaceX with either Tesla or XAI instead of having an IPO. If you merge it with XAI, isn't that still going to be private? XAI is not public, right? So the only best way to make it public, to have exposition into SpaceX, would be to merge it with Tesla. What if you just merge the three and make a super company? You'd absolutely beat Nvidia, right? I think you absolutely would. No, you might not actually. I don't think you would. Nvidia is still too large. Nvidia is 4.6 trillion in market cap. Tesla, where's Tesla? Oh my, it's down here. Yeah, 1.5 trillion for Tesla. SpaceX is expected to be another 1.5 trillion. So that's 3 trillion. And whatever XAI is, I don't think it'll be too big. Even if you give it another trillion, that's 4 trillion. Nvidia will have 4.6 trillion still. We've seen Nvidia at 5 trillion before. Nvidia will still be the top company over whatever super company Elon decides to merge together. But anyway, it would mark the largest corporate merger in history, and the AI revolution is accelerating. What AI bubble? Were we talking about an AI bubble here? These are the full list of IPOs. SpaceX, OpenAI, ByteDance, Anthropic, Databricks, Stripe, Revolut, Canva, and Discord. Discord is not mentioned here. Yep, I agree. Oh, it tells you when it's happening too. This is important. First half of 2026. I'm excited for Stripe. Yeah, and SpaceX, of course. The rest of them, yeah, I'm aware of them, but I don't really care too much about them. Okay, great. That is all. Where are we? 82,329. Good, looks like bottom is in. All right. Buy, don't buy, not financial advice. I will go to sleep. I'm tired, and tomorrow I will sleep in because it's my day off. I kind of felt excited for once. I don't know why. Like, I know my work schedule is weird. Instead of having it, you know, Monday to Friday, they decided to do like Monday to Thursday, no Friday, and then yes, Saturday. I don't know how I'm going to feel about Saturday. I guess we'll check on my feelings tomorrow. But you know, today's workday was kind of like, dude, tomorrow I have a day off. It'll be so great. Yeah. And then I don't know, the next day after I'm going to be like, dude, I have to go back to work on a Saturday, dude. Just leave me alone. But it is what it is. This is what I get for going max long at 109,000. Okay, I deserve this. I deserve these years of punishment of work. You know, it's not that bad, honestly, if you think about it. Back in the Bible days, you had... I just read the story. Who was it? Jacob. Working 7 years for a woman. And then he gets cheated out of the system. He's given the older sister. He's like, dude, I wanted the younger sister. And the guy's like, okay, another 7 years of labor, of manual hard labor. He does the other 7 years, and then he gets them both. He gets 2 wives. But I'm not working for women. I'm working for myself. So yeah, anyways, that's about it, guys. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It's still going to be a volatile day. At least that's what we're expecting. We're getting options expiry, do not forget. We're getting PPI data. And we're getting something else. I don't know what else. I'm probably forgetting. Canadian GDP. Don't care. Yeah, PPI, really. That is all. Okay, great. Oh yeah, and I guess we're going to see who the Fed chair announcement is going to be. I don't mind Kevin Warsh. I don't want BlackRock guy that much. I don't mind Kevin Hassett, but Hassett is already busy with, you know, the Board of Economic Advisory or whatever it is. He's already got his role, so he's not going to switch over to Fed chair. I honestly do think Kevin Warsh is probably the best pick in retrospect, looking back on it. Now that his odds are basically 100%. Somebody must have leaked it, by the way. Like, nobody's talking about that. Somebody must have leaked that data. Because why is everybody just suddenly betting on Kevin Warsh? I think I checked on it and it said a White House official said, yeah, President Trump will be announcing it tomorrow and he's really leaning towards Kevin Warsh. And then everybody's like, took that as confirmation. Oh my God, it's Kevin Warsh. And we're going to max long bet on that guy on Polymarket and on Kalshi. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if that does get announced tomorrow. We'll talk about it. So stay tuned, subscribe for that. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your evening. Bye.